Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this Python lecture, we'll be dealing with functions. And in this lecture of functions, we'll be understanding the concept of default value parameters. That is, if you don't pass any argument for any parameter, how the function can be directed to take the default value for that parameter. One is that. Secondly, we'll be learning the concept of keyword and named arguments. See, in the first lecture of Python, we understood the concept of positional arguments. That is, the arguments are assigned to the parameters in one-to-one sequence. That is, the first argument will be assigned to the first parameter. The second argument will be assigned to the first parameter while invoking the functions, right? But in the keyword or named arguments, you specify the value of the parameter while calling the function. So the sequence doesn't matter. You can use the name of any parameter, specify its value. The sequence doesn't matter at all. Because the concept can be made clear through a running code, let us move to the computer. In this lecture, we'll be understanding all the concepts, position arguments, default value parameters, and the keyword arguments. Keyword arguments are also known as named arguments, and we'll be understanding all the three through programs. For example, this is a program where a function volume is defined with the position parameter L and the two default value parameters B and H. B is having the default value 5 and H parameter is having the default value 10. And when you run it, this is the output that you get it. How this output has come, right? Not only this, we'll be understanding what will happen when the default values are sent, and everything will be done through running programs. So watch the video up till the end. Let us start. See, this is your fifth lecture of functions in Python. The functions topic in Python is very big, so we divided it into 5 lectures. This is the fifth lecture. We've already seen the 4 lectures. First was based on position arguments. Second was based on strings, how to find whether a string is palindrome or not. Third was based on Fibonacci numbers. Fourth was very important, how to define local and global variables in functions, right? And this is your default value parameters. Let us start practically. See, let me tell you that the Python functions can contain following 2 types of argument. One is position arguments and next is keyword arguments. Let's understand position argument. Position arguments means the sequence of the arguments will be applicable to the sequence of parameters. Like for example, this is a function sum which has 2 parameters, and from this line you are invoking the sum function. You are sending 2 arguments. The position of sending arguments matters a lot. This 5 will be assigned to the first parameter, that is 5 will be assigned to x, and this 8 value will be assigned to the next parameter, the next in the sequence, right? See, position arguments must be included in the proper position. They have commas in between, right? And the sequence of the arguments must be maintained. See, if you reverse the sequence of the arguments here, 8, 5, obviously this 8 will be assigned to the first parameter and the 5 will be assigned to the y parameter. So, sequence must be matched. Otherwise, you may not get the desired results. Okay. We have done many programs related to position arguments in the first lecture, that is 15a. I am providing you the link in the description box, and please watch that video if you haven't seen that. Let's copy it and let's paste it in spider ID. Now this program will be assigning 5 and 8 to the 2 parameters, and the function will return the addition of the 2. See, 13 is displayed, right? Let's start with the default value parameters. What if you have 2 parameters and you are sending only 1 argument? Obviously you'll get an error. But sometimes you want a situation that if user does not provide a value of any parameter, you want to define certain default values for that parameter. This is how it is done. Here in this def function, there are 2 parameters. One is your x and another is y. But see, for the default value parameters, you have to use the assignment operator. So you have used an assignment operator and you have defined a value, default value for the parameter y. That is, the value of y has become 10. That also means that if the user does not provide the value for the parameter y, Python will take its default value as 10. See, you are invoking the function twice. You are invoking some function with only 1 argument, 10. Obviously, the position arguments come into the scene here. 10 will be assigned to the first parameter, that is x, and you haven't sent the value for the y parameter. So, the Python will take its default value, how much? 10. If you don't define the default value for the parameter y and you are sending only 1 argument, whereas there are 2 parameters, Python will get you an error that there's a mismatch between the number of arguments and the number of parameters. So 10 is assigned to x, the default value of y is taken as 10, the addition is 20, and that will be displayed here. Here you are invoking the sum function with two arguments, 5 and 8. Obviously 5 will be assigned to the parameter x and 8 will be assigned to the parameter y. If the value is sent while calling the function, then default value is never considered. So 5 and 8 are assigned to these x and y parameters. The addition is 13. Okay, let's copy it and see its result. I am pasting it in the spider ID. I am running it. See, now this one note. Try to understand this one. You can have any number of default parameters, but the default arguments or default parameters should be always after position arguments. Once the default argument starts, once the default parameters start, you cannot have position parameters thereafter. You can have any number of default parameters, but you cannot mix them all. You can place all the position parameters, thereafter default parameters starts, but once the default parameters start, you can have any number of default parameters, but no position parameters after that. It also means that after y is equal to 10, you can have third parameter z is equal to 15, comma r is equal to 6. Okay, but after that, if you want to add one position parameter k, you will get an error, because position parameter can be used before beginning of any default value parameter. You can write the k over here. After x, you can use k, comma b, any number of position parameters. Thereafter, you can start with the sequence of your default parameters, any number of them. Now, this is keyword named arguments. Keyword arguments are also known as named arguments. See, while calling a function, you don't want to follow the position. You don't want to follow sequence. You want to say that this value that I am sending is meant for this specific parameter. You don't want to follow the sequence at all. Whatever the sequence of parameters there, you want that I want to specify the parameter name. I will use the equal to sign also, and thereafter I want to specify its value. It should be given to that parameter. Sequence doesn't matter. That means you will be using the name of the parameter. Now let us understand through a running program. This is volume is a function. This L is your position parameter. B is equal to 5. It's a default value parameter. H is equal to 10. This is a default value parameter again. As I told you, you can have any number of default value parameters after H also, but no positional parameter. Is it okay? Now you are calling this volume function with two arguments. 2 will be assigned to the parameter L. Okay. This is position argument, right? 4 will be assigned to the parameter B. So the default value of parameter B, that is 5, will not be considered. You haven't specified the value for the parameter H. So the default value of H is considered, that is 10. Output will be L is your 2, B is 4 and H is 10 and volume is and the multiplication of all the three. Whatever the result of multiplication is. Now see, here the keyword or the name argument starts. You are invoking volume function, you are sending two arguments. One is 3. 3 will be assigned to obviously L, right? H is equal to 6. 3. Second parameter is B, but you don't want to follow that sequence. You are naming it that please assign the value 6 to the parameter H. This is naming of the arguments. Keyword arguments, right? So the Python will realize that 3 has to be assigned to L. Obviously, the value of B is not sent here. This is the value for the H parameter. So the default value of the parameter B will be considered and this 6 will be assigned to the parameter H. The default value will not be considered of the parameter H. Output will be L is 3, B is 5, H is 6 and the multiplication of all the three. In keyword arguments, the order, the position of the arguments can be changed. See, here B and thereafter H has appeared. But see, you can use any sequence because you are naming the parameter. There will never be any ambiguity. You are specifying the value of H parameter has to be 7. So the sequence of position doesn't matter while using the keyword or named arguments, right? So the value of H parameter will be considered as 7. The value of L parameter will be considered as 2. Obviously you haven't mentioned B. So the default value of parameter B, that is 5, will be considered. Output will be L is equal to 2, B will be 5 and H is 7 and the volume is the multiplication of all the three. So let us copy this program. pasted here and see. Can you see it? You have to just remember one thing more, that keyword argument must come after any position argument. That is, you can have any number of keyword arguments, but position argument will never come after the keyword arguments. Like default parameters, they have to be on the right hand side after position parameters only. Similarly, after supplying position arguments, keyword arguments will begin. You cannot mix them all. Keyword arguments can be any number of them, but after specifying all the position arguments. If you have followed my lecture, kindly subscribe to my channel, share my videos with your friends. Do write your comments. I need your comments desperately to understand what kind of programs I should write for you. Thanks for watching the video. Have a nice day.